saying to Linda and my new friend Kimberly just a second ago that I noticed throughout my life, having worked in the personal development industry now for 25 years in some capacity, that one of the things that always holds true, and I love it about life in general, I'm sure everyone can relate to this, is when you're working for God, whatever that means for you, the divine, and you bring conscious awareness to that, and you show up wherever you go in life, right? Magic happens. You know, even tonight we were coming over, oh, it's Cinco de Mayo, you know, maybe people, I love you, I can't see anything. You know, and you story, ego, story, and then you for a moment remember why you do what you do, and to let God run the show. The economy, right? Nobody's gonna come out, nobody's gonna buy my clothes, my life is falling apart, and then we try to remember that there is another force at work. And I don't know if anybody right now especially is loving that fact, right? That you can tap into another force, right? Everybody relate to that?
So, I believe in, yeah, absolutely.
Right. So having said that, I'll tell you, I have enjoyed my relationship, developing my relationship with Spirit since I've been 16 years old. I've been on my little path. For me, I say little because I didn't do it in an outward kind of way. I did it because it was like salve for me. It taught me how to comfort myself. It explained maybe why I grew up in the family that I did. I used it for a lot of reasons, but mostly to help me end my own suffering. So it wasn't necessarily anything that I would go shout on the rooftops, right? It was my own personal journey. But interestingly, one of the parallels that we all women have in our lives, we have our deep inner conversation with ourselves, one that, you know, especially then, 10, 15, 20 years ago, we didn't really talk about out loud. You know, you didn't talk about God really with people. You did that in church or in private, or someone died, right? Or you had something disastrous happen, and then faith comes into play. And then there's your career track. What am I going to be when I grow up? You know, for different ladies, depending on how each of us were influenced by our parents and the values. I know Shakti's father had a very strong work ethic, and our parents taught us all kinds of different things about career, what we were going to be. I know, you know, you were, oh my God, Nikki, on a path that so many women wanted to be on. You were, you know, runway model, right? All over the world doing the thing that a lot of ladies wanted to do. So everybody's career path as a woman looks slightly different. Nonetheless, it was a track. But then there's the guy track, which I love this analogy that I just learned about self.
Pay attention, Agnes.
Imagine yourself contained by a hula hoop. So here's you and your hula hoop, your own particular hula hoop. This is who I am in my world, right? I got my own hula hoop going on, you get it up on your shoulders, and it's your own rhythm, your own life, right? It's your relationship with God, your favorite color, who you are you quiet, are you outgoing, do you like poetry, do you like to sing, you know, all of the you part of you is in the hula hoop. Your career path, and you're going along, and all of a sudden you look over, there's some guy, and all of a sudden you're like,
You're out of the hula hoop.
how do I get up in his hula hoop, right? And you're like, how you doing? Hey, how's it going? How's it going? And next thing you know, you're like, up in the guy's trying to, like, oh, I don't know how to do this. And pretty soon you're like, doing the guy's hula hoop thing with the guy, and you're like, okay, this is kind of fun, and you're really hot. And one day, 2 months, 10 years, 26 years later, you're in the guy's hula hoop, and maybe there's even some kids in there with you now, and hi, Richard. I'm talking about boundaries, or lack thereof. So you drop your hula hoop, and you're up in the guy's hula hoop, and pretty soon, you know, one day you're looking, and you're like, what the hell is my hula hoop? Where am I, right? Where did I go? So what happens for most of us is we start thinking something's wrong with the person in the hula hoop, right? I can't believe this. I can't move like this. I can't do, and finally you hopefully realize, hey, you're not in your own hula hoop. Get out of his hula hoop, the other person, right? Just take a look at who you are, independent of that person. But depending on how we grow up, that can be terrifying because we learn to merge. We learn, so many of us, to give up ourselves for your life, for what you want. And I'll be whatever, right? Catching your rhythm. I can do that. Oh my God, 20 years later, you're like, you just want to kill this person with an ice pick. Because why? Because it's not natural to your rhythm. It's not the way nature intended us to be, in somebody else's rhythm. Here's how it was intended to be. You with your hula hoop, you're like, hey, I like your hula hoop, right? And then you got your thing, and then here's how it happens. Oh, relationship. Oh, relationship, right? The place that overlaps, where you both overlap, that's we. And when you can do that in rhythm, like somebody's got the same rhythm as you, then you go through life and you're not going to be banging into each other all the time, or you pick it back up. But that's how nature intended us to be in relationship. As it turns out, I just like the visual because it's so easy to do. Even if you've been with somebody a long time who you really love, the tendency is for us to drop our own self, all of our God relationships, our spiritual path, our career, and give it up for somebody else. Midstream, that's what I call going to sleep, by the way. Now you just go to sleep.